so Always Sunny in the Freljord, or Leona Orion Sol with a cheeky Trundle, is this is one of the 3 decks where if you watched my pick ban gauntlet on Monday, was that yesterday? No, it was 2 days ago. 2 days ago, this was one of the 3 decks that I had played in that. The basic idea behind this deck is that Leona's Daybreak package is very reasonable against aggressive decks in the format, having just, cheap cards like Soldier and Shield Bearer, and then other things like Mountain Goat and Sentry gum up the board early, especially when combined with things like Guiding Touch and Star Shaping. It makes this very difficult to kill in the early game. And then Orion Sol is one of the best pieces of top end in this game right now. And one thing that got added to the most recent patch is we gained the card Eclipse Dragon, which not only has some Daybreak synergy with Leona, but because Eclipse Dragon and Orion Sol are the only 2 dragons in this deck, Dragon's Clutch here always draws 1 Eclipse Dragon and 1 Orion Sol. And this is good because Eclipse Dragon's Daybreak makes your next dragon or celestial unit cost 2 less, which means if you have Eclipse and Orion Sol, you get to go Eclipse on 7, Orion Sol on 8. So this is, normally you usually play 3 copies of champions in your decks, but drawing multiple Orion Sol is often awkward. So with Dragon's Clutches, we're playing 4 virtual copies of Orion Sol, which means I have an extra champion slot left over, so we're just playing a Trundle, because it's just a good rate champion, basically. One other kind of package that I have in this deck is, I think Divergent Paths is very good. I think being able to interact with landmarks efficiently is important in this format and valuable, but that being said, there's still decks in this format that aren't playing landmarks, so being able to use this draw a landmark text is valuable. So I have another one of cheeky Howling Abyss in the deck, so that way when we draw Divergent Paths in matchups where they're not playing landmarks, Divergent Paths can draw us Howling Abyss as another late game bomb. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this. This is the deck I've been playing the most off stream. It's been fun and felt reasonably powerful. So hopefully it has a good showing here today and doesn't embarrass us. Why is Asol's champ spell awkward? Because Asol's really powerful and his champ spell's really powerful. Ezreal Karma Vi. Why Trundle? He's just a good card. We're playing Trundle because I don't want to play a 3rd Orion Sol because I don't want 3 10-drops in my deck. So I have a champ slot, so like Trundle's just like the best rate card. Or the best rate champion in these regions.
Ours is the one true light.
We're playing Trundle because he's the king of Twitch chat. Ain't that the truth?
We each hold a world within.
Safeguard our homes.
The dragon binds.
Hey, thanks for the Bezo Bucks, Gamos. I appreciate the 19 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I actually don't think... I don't think comparing Darius to Trundle makes sense at all, actually. Trundle is an interactive controlling champion, and Darius is a piece of aggressive top end. So I think those cards actually just do completely different things, and comparing them doesn't make a lick of sense.
Raise your weapon, Sunwood.
I think this is better or worse than straight Trundle Asol ramp. I think it's different. I think it has different matchups.
These old eyes still see far and clear.
Night falls.
I think this deck's much better against aggro decks. think the Leona Daybreak package is very, very good against aggressive decks in this format. I'm just doing this and smacking them. Honestly, open attacks is probably better. Yeah, I was gonna open attacks. It's only 3 more attack anyways.
It's too late for you. Master.
I mean, Trundle as a card isn't an aggressive card like Darius is. Darius is there to kill people.
I'm doing this my way.
The dawn has arrived.
Carry her light across the mountain.
Glorious light rains down.
I'm gonna go ahead and Dragon's Fletch this here before we draw our Eclipse Dragon. Yeah, and that's something card games players do across games, is card game players, for whatever reason, are really obsessed with trying to draw direct comparisons between things that shouldn't have direct comparisons drawn between them. And I'll never understand it. They're like convinced that if these two things look kind of the same, they have to be identical, and generally speaking, that's just not how these things work.
Escapes my watch.
Just because there's a touch of overlap doesn't mean they fill the same role. You have got my tutu.
Sunward.
Breathe in, breathe out.
Here's the fun part. Freeze.
I think I just let Leona die here so I can Orient Sol next turn.
Sun sets.
That's definitely, I think, my favorite, like, aggressively slanted deck right now, Dream in America. Big agree that it's a lot of fun and powerful. Turn 8 Orient Sol is not bad.
What is gained when you return malevolence?
Just take the Destroyer for now.
Terra, let's rock.
Silent as death.
They could get Vi big enough to kill Aesol this turn.
I got ways to find me mushroom.
The problem with taking Living Legends is that, like, my hand is just so full right now.
Tension.
I don't need a plan. Trouble coming at ya.
Oh, clutch does save him, doesn't it? It's a good call. Freeze up our hand to draw a card with this too. Right, because spell shield, stops that there. I'm gonna guiding touch for now and just soft pass. See what? See what they do? I mean, our opponent is playing an Ezreal deck, so, like, we're not as safe as we otherwise could be here. Unfortunately, we don't have room in our hand to generate anything here. We just have so much card advantage.
I am the bulwark against darkness.
First world problems, hands too full.
First light illuminates the land. Bask in the light's radiance.
Too much card advantage, not enough mana, yeah. I don't like having too many options. If you don't like having too many options, this is definitely not the deck for you.
What is gained when we return malevolence?
They got him, chat. He's dead.
Something's wrong.
Feel the sun's glory.
Breathe in, breathe out.
How leveled is Ezreal? Super leveled.
Check me out. Don't blink or you miss me.
Yep.
It's not bragging if you can back it up.
Yeah, there's a good chance we're just dead here. Opponent, Ezreal Karma is not a deck that's really been played in the format much anymore, and it's definitely very good against decks like what we're playing. Their deck has more, generally speaking, Oriental has the most inevitability of decks that people are commonly playing, but Ezreal Karma definitely has more inevitability than that even.
I will protect you.
As the game goes longer, Ezreal Karma is just more likely to win. Against like a traditional control deck, we'd be in a very good spot, but against a combo control deck like what they're playing, they're definitely more favored than we are. Grexy, coming in hot with the sub gifties this morning. Happy Wednesday to you. Thanks for the support. I appreciate it.
The spirit gives to those who listen.
Hey, glad to hear it. Yeah, they're just going for the throat here. There's a good chance we just die next turn.
What is gained when you
This
return
does
my
2 to us every time they cast any spell.
Daylight everlasting.
Correct, True in America. Final Spark explicitly costs 0.
Put on me mask, secure me tail, start the
It's like there's 4 more points of damage. Yeah, we're just dead. That matchup seems pretty impossible. Like I said, that's not a deck that people really play anymore for whatever reason, so I don't think that's something that I'd really change or worry about, but if Ori and Sol decks become popular, something like Ezreal Karma is a good choice to prey on them for sure. Yeah, they had Karma Quaddle. They were playing 3 champions, probably 2 Karma and 1 Vi. If I recall the layout of their stuff at the start. We'll keep the rest of these cheap cards. Definitely mulliganing the 10 drop in the aggro matchup.
I'll burn for what I've done.
Morning, Engineer. Happy Wednesday. Well, if they don't open attacks, we get to play Soldier. And if they do open attacks, we get to play Sentry. Do I play Sentry? No, I'm going to play the Goat. I guess it kind of doesn't matter. We're probably going to go Sentry plus Soldier next turn.
Explosives prime.
Think I'd rather just go wide this turn. I could deploy this, but I think I'd prefer to go threat. I don't really want to trade this for a 2-power thing. I'd rather save it to be able to block a 3-power thing, or a 3-toughness thing.
Say your farewells.
So they either have another Make It Rain, or we're going to see Misfortune next
See
turn.
the Devastian border from here.
That's a great draw if they're not opening on attacks.
Don't need riches.
Super happy with these blocks. And, like, this is a great spot, right? Like, the board being empty and us being at 16 on turn 4 is huge in a matchup like this. These are awful. Was really hoping for the deal 4, deal 1. I guess we take this in case they have a Gangplank.
warms the heart and lights the way. Looking for trouble? It found you.
And then next turn, we just get to go ahead and play Daylight Spear here. Just like, thunk, here's my 5/5.
Is forever at its zenith.
Blessed daylight surrounds you.
Blessed daylight surrounds you. Pretty good rate unit. This game really showing off why I like this deck in general. It has good staying power against these aggressive decks, and then saying something off meta like Easy Karma, I think you go over the top of most things.
Go with the flow.
March.
You do, Sunshine. So if you have It's Always Sunny in the Frel Yard out, you get both triggers on the Eclipse Dragon potentially, which is great.
Why are you here?
You have half an hour. there is the remote in the basement. You gotta look around, bud. You and your brother gotta start paying attention and putting it back where it belongs. Hey, Jacob. That's not a nice way to act, buddy. It's a hard knock life, chat. When you lose the remote because you're careless. Have you tried Eternal CCG by Direwolf Digital? Yeah, Eternal card game is basically Magic Light with an economy that's just as predatory as Magic Arena and Hearthstone and all those others. I didn't find anything particularly unique or compelling about the gameplay. If you want a version of Magic that plays on a cell phone, Eternal card game's really good. But if you're looking for like an actual unique different game, I don't think Eternal card game really qualifies. And like I said, the economy in those games at this point is really a huge turnoff to me as a player. Just feels super bad to play. Or super bad to buy into. Runeterra has really ruined me as a game. Yeah, so there was another game I played called Hex TCG, Hex Shards of Fate, a while back. That Eternal's basically very similar to Hex Shards of Fate. So like they're not even original in their version of being Magic Light. I liked Hex better than Eternal. I thought Hex did a number of things better than Eternal did, but Hex is dead at this point. And even Hex had a secondary market for buying cards, so it had like trading and nonsense, which also sucked. I think if you ask me for my favorite non-Runeterra card game at the moment, I really like, there's an indie card game called Mythgard that we played a little bit of, but their economy is again similar to Hearthstone and Arena in that it's super predatory. We're going to be playing some Fatal Core later today. That game's been super reasonable. We've done a few segments of that. It's very unique in its gameplay style, and it doesn't have a predatory economy in it either. You actually can't give them money, which is a unique business model. What happened to Hex? Hex ran out of money. Is the TLDR on Hex for people that didn't keep up with them? They also, part of the reason why they ran out of money was because Wizards of the Coast hit them with a lawsuit. Yeah, the open on attacks with this is super brutal. Isn't Eternal free to play? Free to play doesn't mean your game's not a predatory pile of trash. That's not consumer friendly. So yeah, Eternal's free to play, but it's also incredibly predatory. Requiring players to gamble to get products in your game is predatory, full stop. Yeah, I messed this game up. Yeah, MTGA is free to play too. It doesn't mean it's not predatory. In fact, free to play games on average tend to be the most predatory video games out there. Because they rely on hooking specific types of players to generate a majority of their revenue. They rely on people with gambling problems, essentially. None of those are the lifelink card I was hoping to get. I guess we could potentially kill them next turn with Leona plus It's Always Sunny. We have a decent combination of things.
Bask in her radiant blessing.
It says overwhelm, right? It does. And this is gonna make a powder keg. Yeah, that's the other thing too. That's a good take too. At least casinos are upfront about being predatory. games. A lot of free-to-play games are very sneaky in about how addictive they are and how much money they're looking to take from you. Casinos don't tell you that they're free usually. I guess a lot of casinos run promos like that, similar to get you in the door at least to start, but yeah, their last card's a burn spell, I assume. That's just how these games work. I think the amount of endgame reach these decks has is too much, and I kind of expect that to be. Although, what's it called? Ruben said they're looking at Make It Rain, which feels weird to me.
This is but one sunset.
I don't know. Gangplank's probably also a card they could consider looking at. The stat line on him is just huge. The fact that he's like a 6/6 overwhelm for 5 that like does more than 6, or a 6/6 does more than 6 when he attacks, he triggers. Hey, good games, Dark Rider. Good luck with the rest of your laddering today. Yes, casinos are bound by gambling laws too and heavily regulated. And loot boxes largely aren't and are often targeted. Games with loot boxes are often targeted at children. I feel like if they only adjust Make It Rain in the pirate aggro deck, that would be a pretty big miss on their part. I feel like that would be missing the problem with missing what the problem is in that archetype in general. Honestly, one of the things about playing variety games recently has reminded me just like how much content you get out of just like, you know, a $60 purchase. Like Horizon Zero Dawn's a great example of that, or like Zelda Breath of the Wild, just like how many hours you can log in. Has anyone tried to regulate this type of gambling? Yeah, there's the UK is currently working on passing legislation, I believe, in France as well. No one in the United States though, I don't believe currently.
Your lesson begins.
Sure. You have Pale cascaded without drawing a card to kill my 2-drop. Yeah, Jin, our Horizon Zero Dawn playthrough that I've been doing on Sunday nights has been fully on PC.
Night flowers upon my blade. First light illuminates the
I think we just do this, then we play Always Sunny next turn. I am playing it with the controller, so maybe that's why you confused it, Jin. But basically any game on Steam that supports the Pro Controller, I've been playing with the Pro Controller, because I prefer it to keyboard and mouse in general. Yeah, games like Call of Duty are like peak corporate greed. Just like... just does actual all the things, just like has an install fee, also has loot boxes.
Enter, traveler, and stop staring.
The controller's just more ergonomic for me. Like, if I do a keyboard heavy, like a game where you're like using the controls constantly, that's not like a card game like this, and I play it for like 2+ hours, my hands physically hurt at the end of it. Whereas like a 4 or 5 hour session with the Pro Controller, I don't feel it really at all. Would Genshin Impact be a game that I'd be into? Nah, I'm gonna avoid gacha games. I think I've got Raid Shadow Legends in my life. I'm gonna stick to games that aren't predatory if I can.
Clad in shining sunlight.
Xbox 360 controller. I'm told the Pro Controller is basically an updated variation of the 360 controller. Yeah, I'm told it's like very, very small modifications from the 360.
Daylight is unrelenting, but not eternal.
It looks like this.
Sun's splendor revealed.
And I can keep my Pro Controller plugged in while I play Runeterra, unlike Magic Arena, because when my controller is plugged in while I play Magic Arena, even though no buttons are being pressed on the controller, Magic Arena opens random menus, 'cause Magic software. What's a gacha game? A gacha game is a game with in-game loot boxes for purchase for acquiring in-game items. So, Raid Shadow Legends, more recently Genshin Impact, these are examples of gacha games. So, next turn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna go up to 7 mana, and then I'm gonna have 3, so if I play this, I can double Morning Light next turn,
Will not suffer unbelievers.
They will not escape.
which will quad stun and give me a big attack.
Holy light.
I mean, I'm transparent about my spending. I play a lot of Raid Shadow Legends. I've done some sponsored streams for them. I've definitely spent 4 figures on Raid Shadow Legends. Those games will let you spend as much money as as much money as you will give them, you can spend on their game.
I will not hold back.
All right, do you have a second to die? What's our champion play? Leona? That's what we were talking about, Erasmus. I don't really want to play another gacha game. Raid has paid me significantly more than I've spent. The exact amount of money is technically NDA'd, so I can't share it. That's just how a lot of those work, but I have gotten more than 4 figures from Raid sponsorships. Believe it or not, the predatory gambling games tend to pay more in sponsorship money than the non-predatory gambling games. This will come as a shock to many of you, I'm sure.
We will resist.
I'm too airborne.
Hey, Smituga, thank you for the entire year of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
Act free of doubt.
Four figures means more than $1,000. 4 digits, not counting decimal places, is generally what 4 figures means when referring to money.
I will not hold back.
We will be free. Without all.
Great. The question here is, so this doesn't have Overwhelm yet, so they shouldn't be able to combo kill us on open attacks. And if they can't combo kill us on open attacks, we get to stun this to start, which is nice. They're gonna triple gem here and kill my Leona.
I'll see this through.
Oh, it's almost level. They can double gem and kill my Leona.
The dragon spirit awakes.
Single gem and kick my Leona.
Prepare yourself. Conflict is all in the mind. Our enemies cannot hide.
Daylight is unrelenting, but not eternal.
How good is Troll Chant? Very good.
Yeah!
You think they will get a Dragon Link next turn? Asking the real questions.
My brethren.
Who's excited to get Bastioned? That's true. There aren't loot boxes in Hoaglandia, but to be fair, when the queue gets busy, it's kind of a free-to-play system because you can technically spend time instead of spending money. Like, you can make a smaller donation, just wait a little bit. So it's got... My system definitely draws some ideas from how freemium games work out in the wild.
Conflict is all in the mind.
He's dodged Deny and Bastion here. They already played one Deny. They haven't played any Bastions. They're digging.
I'll see this through.
They could just have another Lee Sin here. That is very, very true. They did shuffle away Lee Sin's last turn. Do I want to heal myself or my Always Sunny? I want to heal myself. Sweet.
Only I can endure the dragon's fury.
Alright, good get combo killed. Yeah, the Lee Sin deck has big magic energy, for lack of a better term. Yeah, both Twisted Fizz and Twisted Diana are very good Twisted Fate decks. You can find them up on my website. And we're dead.
I will not hold back.
They gotta give it 2 more power, which is likely. Glad I healed ourselves, because this way they have to give it 2 more power instead of 1 more power. Yeah, I agree. The opponents, one of my buddies, like, played Runeterra for the first time in a while last night, because I've been talking about enjoying the format, and he said he queued into Lee Sin deck twice and promptly closed the client. It's just like, hopefully they understand those metrics, like, definitely just like the biggest possible feel bads to play.
Is all in the mind. Center your spirit.
The Lee Sin deck is the type of deck that should never be tier 1. I think it's incredibly unhealthy for the opponent's archetype to be tier 1. Very, very difficult to interact with. We might even win this game still. But, like, again, winning this game is largely going to come down to my opponent didn't have it. Not that, like, I had really good choices that I feel good about. Yeah, we might win this game, but it wasn't very fun, is what I like to refer to as big magic energy. And looks like the danger of us winning the game has passed, so. Yeah, the barrier is definitely the thing I'd probably get rid of. I think they could also just, like, adjust his number so he's more expensive, but... I don't actually think this matchup is that bad. We have a couple copies of Hush. Like, we could draw a Hush next turn and be okay, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I have 8 cards, so this will generate 1, and then we'll get a Hush as well. We have 2 shots at a Hush with this, but... Still doesn't feel very good.
It's faster than this. Wonder at my creations.
I don't... For the record, I don't think just making him 5 mana solves the problems.
My, how they
I think he really needs just to be more interactable. Now, I think making him harder to level up would also be a mistake.
They forced us to choose the death or the blade.
The fundamental problem is that he's difficult to interact with. Worst Ezreal draw. Yeah, it feels pretty bad. If this had been a piece of removal, that would have been ideal. I guess we open with this and see what we get, huh? Ezreal Drew Moon Silver. I guess with the gain 2 plus this, we might survive this turn. I think I play Eclipse Dragon here. And then we hope that this can't kill us here.
My lands need me. Prepare yourself.
Celestial power.
Thanks, Trubis. I try.
Center your spirit.
Oh, this has Overwhelm. I'm dumb. It doesn't matter, right? Right. We're playing against Lisa, none of it matters. I forgot. I just wasn't thinking about overwhelm. I was thinking we were only taking one. You're right. No, you're good, Zoran.
Isn't my fault.
We'll just concede to Lee Sin for the rest of the day. Just not fun. You're liking Howling Abyss? It's a fine one of to pair with the draw landmark card. Yes, fine. Good curve. And then concede to Lee Sin for like a month or so. Yeah, it's a good and honestly, I really hope that the pick ban gauntlet. Fucking this fucking Twitch widget is killing me. It's so buggy. I definitely clicked update on my end. Let me click update a couple more times because yeah, it's not updated.
Bless the faithful and sear the heretics.
These old eyes still see far and clear.
Yeah, I hope, sorry, to complete my thought, I hope the pick ban format becomes something more permanent. Because, like, being able to, like, always ban the deck you don't want to play against is such a huge, like, that's just, like, a good quality of life feature in basically any card game. Because even in formats that are healthy, there's still decks that people don't really care to play against, and being able to always remove the deck you don't want to play against is great. I think comparing Lee Sin to Delver completely misses what's good about Lee Sin. I think Lee Sin, I think if you wanted to draw a comparison to Lee Sin to a Magic deck, you would draw the comparison to Grixis Shadow from Modern. Maybe Splinter Twin. I think Grixis Shadow is probably the most apt comparison. It's like a tempo deck with a combo kill. Are Garen and Braum bad? They're not tier 1 champions, if that's what you're asking.
Our strength is yours.
Embercleave? No, I don't think Embercleave's a good comparison because Embercleave doesn't... Decks that play Embercleave, generally speaking, don't play a bunch of protection for their units. Nah, Bogles isn't really a fair comparison because Bogles have built-in protection. Whereas, I guess Lee Sin kinda has built-in protection.
Daylight everlasting.
Solari control all the Hawan touches.
Man, that's a lot of ramp. Yeah, in fact, could be an apt comparison.
The homestead.
Basically, there's a lot of combo decks in Magic.
This is our homeland.
It's like 800 different Magic decks you can compare it to. Nah, Feather doesn't really combo kill. Feather is a good example of a pretty healthy style of gameplay that's very interactive. Yeah, no War Mother's Call here is really good for us. Troll Chant is like king of generating 2-for-1s. It's very good.
The War Mother will unite us all.
Everybody in chat hoping for me to die to War Mothers on turn 6. Y'all are evil. Why you have to be so mean? Sure.
Our strength is yours.
Is that even good? I'm not even sure that that's good.
My faith protects me.
That'll do, pig. That'll do. Well, poop.
I will unite the Frel Yord.
You're just playing Orient Soul, right? Am I? I could go Swain Vlad. Swain with Vlad is not neat, chat, because Swain only stuns back row enemies. Dissonant Turmoil, thanks for 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back.
Born a patrician, I became a soldier.
I've dressed for the occasion in red.
Show me a target.
Let it flow.
Stand and defend. This is our homeland. Stand and defend.
Alan Q, thanks for the raid. I appreciate it. Hope you had a great stream.
So cold.
That's a very good game, Anarunk.
Every step brings me closer to deliverance. Back, unbeliever!
Do I want to trade with this? I suppose I could get... I suppose I could get a... Yeah, Vlad's Reach, I agree. I could block here and then Guiding Touch myself. We're not... I don't think we're beating Atrocity anyways. No, I don't think we beat Atrocity. I think if we chump block here, we're just losing that game anyways. It's just like keeps going back to their hand. I'm gonna leave myself dead to Atrocity. If their War Mother's Call Tryndamere Ledros deck has Atrocity in it as well, that's fine. They've got me.
King of Trolls coming through.
They have Ruination? It feels like they could have Ruination here. Think I'm supposed to open?
Who would face me? You and me, we'll rule the world. And I thought humans were stupid.
Alright, I mean, Vlad's trigger is lethal here, right? Everybody trash talks for Vlad.
You can't take this crown.
And the MVP Vlad, he's the real winner. This is the playable Vlad deck. We found it. Dear Riot, please nerf. It only took Howling Abyss to get him. Vlad's great when you don't put him in your deck to start. Big mood. Big mood. Alright, so I think I'm supposed to mulligan one of these two drops because Leona's very good against aggressive decks because of her stat line, but I would like to mulligan into some other cheap Daybreak cards, ideally. Start working towards leveling her. These are not what we're looking to see against the discard aggro deck. We are attacking on odds at least, though. I mean, it's a little bit harder for them to be super aggressive. Second Divergent Path feels bad, man. Definitely having a little bit of a wrong half problem here. This is explicitly a card we do not want in this matchup. It's one of the reasons why we only play 2 of them. Really hoping to draw a 1, 2, or 3 drop next turn. This is the darkest timeline. Yep, I mean, that's just how it goes sometimes, right? You can take intelligent mulligans, but sometimes variance just happens. That's how it goes. I think they're both fine, Carafe. I think they both have advantages and disadvantages. I think the upside of being able to always ban a style of deck you don't want to play against is fine. You know, the more I play Runeterra, the more I'm coming around to the idea of sideboards being okay for the game. If I'm being honest. Like, this type of thing wouldn't happen in a sideboarded game. Like, these 3 cards would all be bored out of my deck easily. Innkeeper over Star Shaping, maybe.
Daylight is unrelenting.
I mean, best of 3 formats in general would be fine. Riot's already said that their tournament modes are going to be best of 3. Ladder play is frequently best of 1, just for the sake of making gameplay faster more than anything. Well, chance a good draw. It's a card that gives us a trick inside of combat at least.
I stand for Noxus.
I gotta work with this Joker.
So, Hush wipes the stats off this for a turn at least. They have another vision.
Cooking.
Unbeliever.
That's probably lethal.
This is but one sunset.
20 health is enough? That's an interesting question. That could definitely be a balancing knob they could explore. Yeah, Zeckles, like, I think whether or not they've designed for that and whether or not it works fine are 2 different things, though. Like, I believe them that they haven't designed with sideboarding in mind, but from, like, practical application and how it could work out, it seems fine. Yeah, that was something, Hex TCG did, where your starting health was dictated by deck building decisions that felt pretty reasonable.
Bless the faithful and sear the heretics.
I agree with the assessment that, generally speaking, I prefer when aggro is the best thing you can be doing in a format. That being said, I think they could dial back the power of the current aggro decks and still have them be the best decks in the format. Yeah, that's true. Passage Unturned is like very clearly a sideboard card. So I don't even know if I buy that they're not designing with sideboards in mind.
We'll take what we need to survive.
I don't know, maybe that was unintentional, but that card definitely screams sideboard. I wonder if they're playing the Ember variation that we just poked at. I'm gonna lead on Sentry here in case they have Avalanche. Well, they could still Avalanche me here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pass. Yep. Open on attacks here.
Stop this foolery.
The opponent's playing Sakura Braum. We literally played their archetype in the session before this one. Waffle will be up on YouTube tonight. Felt very reasonable. Hey, Gasney, thanks for the 23 months. Welcome back. I appreciate it.
Our sun will not set today. Let us get going.
So, we can get set up to Orion Sol in 2 turns. Think I'm just supposed to always Sunny this turn. So that way
No very tall.
we can trade with this, hopefully.
Unbeliever. It is easy, see?
Oh, I didn't have room to get a Celestial as well. Yeah, huh? The comment about our deck having a little bit too many expensive cards in it in general could definitely be accurate. We definitely bump up against my hand is full pretty often in this deck. Could be something worth considering.
We all walk our own path.
I just haven't had a window where that's what I wanted to do, Waffle. I've done something else with my mana every single turn. And the landmark's not currently really doing anything at the moment, so, like, I'm not really under pressure to, like, do something to it. Like, what's the upside of targeting this card right now? Is there one?
The cosmos will collapse eventually. Your favorite star? I created it. Let's show our friends the door. Have you met my shield?
I guess if they have, like, Troll Chant here, they trade with Orion Sol.
Time to celebrate!
We're 1 power short of leveling this here, unfortunately. I don't know. I don't think I could just take a hit for 9 there, or... I guess I could have blocked with the 7-5. It's a real shame we don't have Leona.
Clad in shining sunlight. We will not suffer unbelievers.
They will not escape punishment.
I think I just hit end round and level this, right? Yeah, I guess I could blow the I could blow this up. Like, what do they have to punish me killing that here? Like, what do they play? They could play, like, Ice Quake?
I'm the forger of stars.
Oh, Ice Quake is 8, you're right. Just gonna go ahead and level him.
Now they'll pay attention.
If they want to open attacks, I have a star shaping for this.
My shield is my sword. Ha! This is fun, yes? Now we have fun.
The guilty will bear.
Hey, the Minx, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Really appreciate you shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month and keeping me employed. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Let's open with this to make sure it happens before I supernova. Although I guess if they like kill this, I get real sad, so maybe I should just play the free thing first. This works out. Well, I appreciate you choosing to use it here this month, Banks. Oh, I'm gonna lose this game and I deserve to lose it. You're gonna lose this game. I deserve to lose it. We're not guaranteed to lose it, but we definitely deserve to.
Destruction feeds my fire.
Huh? This is actually okay for us? Because we're going to our turn.
It is easy, see? Alert the village.
Alright. Sometimes we're a no justice stream, chat. Sometimes you make a bunch of mistakes and your Ori install drags you kicking and screaming across the finish line. He's got big dragon energy, chat. Big dragon energy. I don't feel like playing against Lee Sin. I'm only going to play 1 or 2 more games. I'd rather they be games I enjoy. Alright, Garen, Lucien. Hey, B-Kooks, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Definitely mulliganing these two. Trundle's a pretty good rate card, but I feel like I should mulligan everything but this, looking for 1, 2s, and 3s. What's going on, Kessup? Yeah, there's a good video that highlights bullet points here of things I enjoy about Runeterra versus Magic. There's another command in chat that I'm currently forgetting the text for. Tellurian Community College also has a great video on it. Man, our mulligans have not been great today. We have a lot of 1s and 2s in our deck, and just not mulliganing to any of them in the matches where it matters. At least the fact that we get to right on time, Solari Soldier. The fact that we get to bank spell mana here could potentially be our saving grace, but definitely behind, losing some tempo early.
Sentinels of light don't fear the dark.
If they don't open on attacks next turn and we get to get down Day Spear, we're gonna be in a very good spot. I think they're not opening this turn. Could cost them. Oh, we don't have a stun. That's annoying. This is fine though, right? So I have another Leona in hand here. And so normally, Daybreak only triggers as your first card played in the turn. However, Always Sunny here, Daylight Spear, says it's always day. So we're gonna get to make a bunch of Daybreaks and have a pretty stunning turn here.
Raise your weapon, Sunwood.
She gets to level.
Bulwark against darkness.
It does, Kurtenchi. So Eclipse Dragon here, we can actually get the Daybreak and Nightfall parts of that card, which is pretty great. It's a Concerted Strike. I can get this up to 8 toughness, but I can only get these down to. I guess I could double Trill Chant here. Nah, the deck used just that Light Martian. Runeterra submissions aren't quite as popular as Magic submissions.
Strike while the planets align.
Yeah, I think that assessment is accurate. I probably need her to win. I don't know. I could use these to get ahead in combat next turn. I'm gonna let her die. I think if I save her, there's a good chance my opponent opens attacks next turn, and if they open attacks, I'm still pretty far behind. So I think we just pass here. Deck submissions are $25, Baron. This is actually really good for us because they've elected basically not to commit to the board this turn.
Daylight everlasting.
Solari control all that I want touches.
That's kind of funny. Yeah, and this takes up a slot on their board, right? Is also accurate.
Hot on the trail.
We did have, I think this is the Tellurian video. Yeah, it's the Tellurian video.
Gaze into the light.
No mercy for heretics.
It's a decent combat step. I guess they still have 2 here as well. But if they have, like, troll chance of their own, that doesn't stop. They could stop my things from killing theirs, potentially, but they can't kill mine, which is what we're looking to stop. If the queue's empty and we have a stream, I'll just throw in whatever I feel like playing on that particular day. Usually I won't decide that till the afternoon or evening before. So this is just going to pump out level 2 champions every turn, which is going to be tough to keep up with. I guess I could open attacks here and pressure them a little bit. I don't hate that.
Stay back.
I think we'll star shaping this and see what we find. Great. I mean, just for transparency's sake, Wylar, like, again, like, you can even click over to the tab labeled Magic Graveyard and see there's, you know, where there were a dozen decks waiting to be played when I decided to take a break. Like, again, I think Runeterra is a better game, but I definitely didn't have a problem keeping the queue full doing Magic stuff. But again, I think that's part of the age of the games too. Runeterra is a newer game with a smaller player base. Part of the reason why my viewer count's lower when we play it as well. It'll grow with time, I imagine. Rome wasn't built in a day and all that jazz. Nocturne! Yeah, it's a spooky dragon. Spooky Dorko. Is that a problem? Not if the sub count stays above a certain threshold. Like, deck submissions are some amount of extra money, but this can still be my job without that. Like I mentioned in the past, the line for doing content full time is about 1,500 concurrent subscribers, which we're still solidly above. That could change a month from now, but we'll see. This job has a lot of things that are unpredictable in it, so I don't like to make projections that could very well end up not being correct. Excuse me. This hush, wiping the text off of here is real good. So this wipes fearsome off of everything. So I can put this here, and then we can jump block around a little bit.
Look out for reavers.
That depends, avid Magic player. Having the queue be light on occasion is something. Yeah, correct. What Lampton said, like having the queue be empty on occasion. Like, I think if I put it down to $10, we'd probably keep it full playing Runeterra. But like having it be somewhat empty on occasion, I consider a feature more than a bug. So that way I can put decks in that I would specifically like to play with some consistency. Like I said, there's a lot of factors that go into a lot of the different decisions. It's a pretty good one. Two and overwhelm is not bad. Didn't want to nuke the landmark. No, I'm gonna kill them.
Been a long path to get.
Maybe playing that gem was wrong, and I should have saved Equinox to silence this is probably correct.
Fall by my sword.
That's probably a mistake.
You are better than this.
I think I'm gonna have 2 fearsome blockers at least. We'll see what else they generate with Arium here.
I'm one of the good guys, but not that good.
RNGesus. I guess the hush means we could survive here.
For justice, for Demacia.
Alright, so the fact that they didn't open attacks means I get to hush this before they declare attackers? No, I think killing the thing that gave everyone fearsome was definitely the correct play. Was it 3 health that would have died to any block? You're right, but you didn't tell me that from the start, so fuck off. Next time include the Y in your original message.
Demacia!
Wanna see a trick? Guns blazing.
The guilty were banned.
Yeah, that's a good example of exchange. I apologize. The fuck off was a little extreme and unnecessary, but that's a good example of an exchange that's like typical. I'm right, and I'm just being egotistical, and I just want someone to tell me I'm right without really trying to help me learn. Like, if you explain why, it's a good explanation, but with just like the, you should see this thing that you clearly didn't see, and that's why you didn't make the good play, is very obnoxious and unwelcome. I was obnoxious in return, and that was unnecessary, and I apologize for that, but That type of you should make the good play, Jeff Durr, is just like really obnoxious. It's very, very peak Twitch chat. Thanks for the 39 months, Nemesis. Welcome back. I don't know what I want to play here. Yeah, I think Sentry to bait Dial-Up Dragon actually seems pretty reasonable.
Nothing escapes my watch.
We could also Solari and hope for Comet.
We fight for those who cannot.
I thought you'd never ask.
Well, we got baited.
The spirit of winter awakens.
Well.
I bring the storm.
Why do I want to trade this for a 6-1, though? The 6-1 I'm gonna render useless anyways. Can you explain why that exchange is good? Because I don't see it. I have not played Outer Wilds before, and we are playing it for the first time this evening. Buff the dragon to trade with Anivia. No, I don't think so. I don't think I want to get more damage marked on this. This is just going to generate an egg and come back for reference. Because they have 10 mana. Those are actually pretty good, huh?
I'm what nightmares fear.
My evening stream with Outer Wilds tonight will start approximately 7 hours from now. I am going in blind, and chat in general has been very reasonable during our puzzle games in the evening, so I'm not planning to completely ignore chat. We're usually pretty good at timing people out that play spoiler.
This world must burn.
I think I want to play this to eat the Ezreal as opposed to playing Oriensol and trying to level him. If you spell burst Drago, you could have pushed for lethal with the double dragon pump. I mean, they have 3 blockers, right? They're pretty unlikely to not block. I guess that still serves the same purpose of getting rid of Ezreal, though, so maybe you're right. I don't think I want to save Dial-Up Dragon here. Because it's going to die to this trigger next turn anyways, right? That lets Ezreal hit us too. So we're dead do another spell here.
The sun is shining. We should too.
Oh, we're dead to a Nivion opens, right? We could draw a heal 2 or a heal 5, though. Oh, they also have 4 attackers, though, now, too. Yeah, probably gonna lose to the Howling Abyss, believe it or not. We're in this for longer than I anticipated, but... Alright, that could draw, what's it called? Could draw Star Shaping, technically.
Illuminate the enemy.
That's it. So, we played a couple of good games in there, but overall it was kind of a disappointing set. It felt like we got picked apart in a couple of spots. We had a number of people that ended up going over the top of us, both with the Howling Abyss went over the top of us there at the end. We had easy Karma control that went over the top of us at the start of the set. Lee Sin is a tough matchup, so I don't think this one's going to make the cut for the website. I think it's kind of fun, and like, you can win games with it. I've won games with it off stream. It was part of the set that we used to play in our Pick Band Gauntlet earlier this week, but overall, I don't really know that I have ideas for directions to go in to make this less clunky than it was. Maybe part of that is dropping the curve. Maybe the divergent paths is something we just don't want access to, and we just try and ignore their landmarks, or like lean on Solari Priestess to interact with them. Like, one of the fundamental problems definitely felt like we had too much top end. Because remember, Dragon's Clutches, even though it's a 3-mana spell, this is technically a 10-mana spell, right? Like, the point of this is to draw these two. Like, maybe Star Shaping's too slow too. I'm not quite sure what I would want at the low end of the curve to fill out. If we cut that landmark package, but it definitely felt like if I were to play this some more, I would want to drag the curve down a little bit. Innkeeper over Star Shaping. Yeah, maybe. It's just like a good Runeterra card, right? I can see that, but like even with the landmark package and the Star Shaping going away, I guess I could play both of them if you really want to have a bunch of healing against aggro. It's probably not terrible. Star Shaping's like a fine card. Like, it's fine against aggro when you stabilize. Like, Star Shaping is the type of card that, like, once you stabilize the board against aggro, this helps ensure you don't die to Decimate off the top. I think between Leona's champion spell being Morning Light and Daylight occasionally giving you Morning Lights, I don't think you want to actually play the card Morning Light. You want to go down to 1 Oriensol? I don't know about that. I think he's pretty reasonable, and I like 2. Maybe he is just too clunky. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if this is a deck. I'm not going to end up throwing this one up the website. The Braum Soraka deck that we played earlier is definitely easier deck of the day. Well, the problem isn't just with stabilizing Grothan. So like I said, like, if you think about problems that we had when we played this deck in that set that we just played, we didn't just have issues where we got run down. We lost games where people went over the top of us as well. So like, if you're getting run down sometimes and you're also losing because other people are going bigger than you, your deck's probably just bad, right? You don't just have one problem, you have multiple problems. So, all right, at any rate, that's going to wrap up on Runeterra stuff for today. We are going to go ahead and end today with a little bit more Fatal Core that we played on Monday and a little bit of last week. This is a indie TCG that's currently in beta that you can play in your web browser by going to fatalcoretcg.com.